Good morning, my friend. Welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here from Visualized NZ. It's Trashcraft Tuesday time, and for today's project I'm going to use paint chips, paint swatches, paint cards, whatever you want to call them. This is a stack of cards that a friend gave to me a little while ago now, and I haven't delved into them at all. Her husband had them as part of his business, and paints, like anything, they have their seasons and they remove colours and bring in new colours. And so this one's out of date, and I'm just going to unscrew the little piece here. So just a wee screw and a metal bit. Now I want to use that somehow. I have no idea. I'm just going to pop it away in my bits and pieces. I'm sure somewhere, somehow, in a decade or so, maybe, I don't know, we'll find a use for that. I'll probably put it back on these once I've had a play, because let's face it, there's no way I'm going to use all these in one short video. I'll be lucky if I use, like, I don't know, 5. That's probably stretching it. So let's choose out some options. So I'm just grabbed half of them. So maybe we'll work with actually this one, male quarter it's called. I wonder what makes it male or female. So these have been used in the business, as I said. So there's some marks and grubby bits, and I think some of them might be creased. Maybe that one, it's a more greyish. And none of these are like bright colours, they're all very neutral. Here's a grey, which is quite dirty. That's alright, we're going to deal with that. Maybe this creamy one. Let's go 5. I don't know that I'll get 5 done. And maybe this one, it's more of a browny cream. Okay, that should be plenty. We've got more to grab from if we need them. So I just think these are an awesome shape, like for a tag, and they've got this rounded shape and they've got a hole and a really good expanse of blank and white on the back. So like perfect base. So I'm just going to start with this one because it's the one I had in my hands. If you don't have something like this, if your paint chips are a different shape, you could just draw around the bottom of a glass or something to give it this curve if that's what you want. If you don't want the curve, you work with whatever shape you've got. So obviously we've got the number and the name of the paint, so we need to cover that up, decorate it up. The back is shiny, so I'm wondering whether I want to cover it with something more exciting, because I think if you write on this with like a normal biro, it will smudge if you like happen to rub your hand across it. So let's start there. Let's start with covering. Oh, hang on. Just got to grab a big enough bit of paper to do it, because that's not going to do it, is it? Right, let's see what's in my bag here. Oh, do we want to sacrifice a bit of ledger paper? I have very little ledger paper, so it's hard for me to use, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know that I do want to put it on this, because I think I can use it elsewhere just like more intact, I think. Oh, I might have to. My scrappy bag is a bit scrappy, like not big enough. So here's a bit of brown wrapping paper. It's got bit of label on, it's a bit crinkled, it's a bit torn. That'll do perfectly. So and I'm actually thinking for going with my tacky glue, maybe a little bit of glue stick in the middle. Hang on, just got to deal with this. Sorry if the crinkle annoys you, but the roll is annoying me. I'm just folding it back the other way so I'm not fighting that curve the entire time, because that would annoy me, and I imagine it would probably annoy you too, watching me fight with it. So a little bit of noise temporarily just to get over that. So this is very thin paper, this craft wrapping paper, and I was given 5 or 4, I can't remember now, maybe 4 rolls of it by my hubby during August, spread out over the month, as part of a gift every day that he gave me for my birthday month. So let's use it. It's good to use it. So I made sure to put glue around the circle, the hole. And while we're here, we may as well do them all, don't you think? In a sort of a little mini mess making style. So I hope you're all having a fantastic week so far. You can probably hear various noises through the camera. It's the wind. We've had pretty much non-stop wind for days, and it was particularly blustery and strong yesterday, and today it is pretty blustery and strong, and it's not doing my head any favors. My head is not enjoying it. So I'm back to having a reasonable sort of strong headache, which I'm not enjoying, not liking at all. But you know, it's kind of like, just can't let it stop me doing things. I've just got to get on. It's like a bit of coffee or something. Like, that doesn't bug me, because we coffee dye stuff on purpose, so why would I worry about a bit of a coffee stain on a paint chip? It'll probably get covered over anyway because it's on the name of the colour. But yeah, it's authentic coffee staining, which is pretty fun. It's a pity it wasn't elsewhere on the card, because we might have been able to keep it. Alright, I'm conscious of the label on the other side, and I don't want to end up with that on the back of... Oh, how did I get glue stick all the way up there? That's weird. Right, I'm just going to stop for a moment and give those a good smooth over. Make sure they're sticking nicely. And just so I can avoid these labels here, or the label, I don't mind if it's sandwiched between the paint chip and the back of the paper, but I don't want that to end up on, you know, facing up. That wouldn't be fun. Okay, 2 more to go, and then we'll cut them out and try and make something pretty, shall we? I love paint chips. I always collect paint chips when I go to a paint store, but I very seldom use them because I just think they're so pretty as they are, and I just love looking at them. And every now and then I grab one out and I think, oh, should, you know, make something with a paint chip, because it's like, it's a resource that's readily available, isn't it? You know, you can just go to a shop and they're free and you can pick some up. I never go overboard. I just, you know, just grab a few and maybe a particular colorway or something. But then I just struggle to use them because I just love them, love looking at the colors and the names of the colors. It's a problem, I tell you people, it's a problem. But these are all very neutral. They're not floating my boat the same as lots of pretty shades of green or blue or red, you know, would. So and I didn't collect these, like these were given to me to be used, so let's use them. So last one on the backing paper, and I managed to avoid the label completely. It's cool. Give those a smooth down. That on my glue while we're going to be doing some cutting. So what's going on in your world? Let me know. What's up? What's happening? What's on your craft table today, or this week, or this month? Keeping yourself busy, hopefully with some fun stuff, as well as, you know, the stuff in life that is not so fun but has to be done. Cooked a big roast chicken for tea last night for dinner, with enough veggies to do as a couple of lunches along with leftover chicken. And the chicken will last us all week because it's a monster. It's like 2.3 kilo, I think, or 2.1, something like that. So that'll feed us all week for our lunches. And just switch out the accompaniments. So today and tomorrow it will be leftover roast and steamed veggies, and then Wednesday maybe it might be salad, and then who knows, the rest of the week it could be veggies, it could be salad. Depends how much salad stuff we have left. Because we've got a lovely, kind neighbour who brings us over a bag of lettuce leaves of various types that are all washed and clean and ready to go. And it's just amazing. And she also brought us over some broccoli and kale and parsley. Was that all? And when I say all, I'm like, I don't mean that. I just trying to remember whether that's everything that she brought over, because it was in a big grocery bag, all individually bagged up per type of green that it was. So kind, so generous. Because we don't have a veggie garden. We're not gardeners. And yeah, I love harvesting. Like, I love that part of having a garden. But man, it's a lot of work. And I hate eight-legged freaks. You know what those are? If you don't know what eight-legged freaks are, then look it up. And there's way too many of those out in a garden. So I just can't deal with it. And I'm too busy. Like, I am actually too busy to garden. So having people who are kind enough to share their excess is wonderful. I do miss courgettes though. I used to love growing courgettes because they just give you so much. Like, you plant a couple of plants and you're set for the whole summer. I really miss those. But our garden where I used to plant them is dead. Like, there's no redeeming it unless we dug all the soil out and refilled it. So yeah, I'm closing the door on that chapter, and we just have to buy them at sometimes quite a horrendous cost. It's ridiculous, especially in summer. Like, in summer they're so plentiful, they should be really dirt cheap. But last summer they never came down in price. They just stayed super expensive. And yet through winter we've been buying them for super cheap. Like, how does that work? They're a summer crop. I can't imagine they're being imported. But we buy them on clearance, and that's why they're cheap. Because a lot of people can't afford to pay that full price. Like, we can't afford to pay full price because they're super ridiculously expensive. So hopefully this summer they will actually be a good price and not ridiculous. Right, I'm just going to grab my hole punch. Sorry for reaching under the camera yet again and giving you a good view of the lint on my sleeve there, I noticed. And hopefully this is about the same size. Ah, perfect. perfect. Just repunch that hole there. So I've still got 2 more to cut out, but maybe I'll save those because I honestly don't know if we're going to get all 5 done. So if I run out, if I finish with these 3 and we need more, then I can cut those 2 out. So I won't bore you with unnecessary cutting if we're not actually going to get to them. Right. So some collaging, I think. Just saw this, so we're going to start with some music, sheet music. I think let's just go right up the side there. Of course, I want to, you know, retain some of the paint because that's the beauty of the paint chip. I want some of that colour, unless it's a colour that, you know, just does nothing for me, is ugly, or, you know, or it's damaged, so it needs covering. I do want to retain some of that original paint chip colour. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, actually, maybe I will get all 5 done. We'll see. We shall see. Okay, so I'll trim off the, you know, around the edges. So that's that one. Let's put a bit on this one as well, since we've got this. And I'm thinking maybe on an angle instead, but I don't want to put glue on that and get it all over my mat. So let's just roughly take off that excess. So I'll still have glue overhanging, but not as much. Because you may notice, if you're a regular watcher, that I've got a new cutting mat here. I'm hoping it's not too busy. It's been living under my other cutting mat, which is still underneath here, for months. And I thought, well, maybe I should start using my new one that my hubby bought me. But I just, like, there's a lot going on it. So let me know, give me feedback if you find this background too busy, if you'd prefer me to go back to the other one. I just thought this one sort of looked cleaner, because it is cleaner. And I'm going to straight away trim this so I'm not putting glue over everything. And then I'll grab out my phone book, which I haven't put anything in for a while. Just take off those little tiny wee slivers and put this in my phone book. Oops, I've got a sliver stuck to my finger. There we go. So if you haven't seen my phone book here, it's just a regular phone book. You know, who uses phone books these days? But here in New Zealand, they still send them out. But very handy as like a book of masterboards, where you can just pop all your scraps, and then you can grab out a page and make things with it, all ready, you know, collaged up, ready to go. I'm just looking for a page to put this on. Well, we're going to start a new page. And just random bits, and sometimes I theme them. Like there's ones here that are more neutral, like this is a strips of offcuts of various bits of paper. This one is all metallics, so I've still got more to put on that. This one is neutrals. I've got a couple of gaps in there, but torn neutrals. Then just bits and pieces that are, this one's a blue one. This one's text and music, neutral. So yeah, lots of fun. Just pop, you know, you cut it off a bit and it's got glue on it. Well, don't waste your glue or your scrap of paper. Just pop them down on a page. Very handy. Okay, so this one, let's see. Let's go a bit of book page instead. These are quite tall actually, these paint chips. Okay, yep, there. There was the word death on one side, which is why I flipped it over to have a look and then saw the word death and flipped it back. It's like, no, let's not have death on our little tag here. It's the novel Heathcliff. So even if it's an old book, doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't have things on it that you don't want to see or have on your pieces of ephemera. I believe journals should be happy. You know, they can be used for not happy purposes, like if someone's recording memories of a loved one that's passed or something. But you don't want the word death, you know, just as a matter of course. Or disease, or, you know, any of those sort of ones that make you go, ooh, that's a bit yucky. Or morbid, or what have you. I think these are going to turn out really cool. I'm just loving the shape. So, do you have a problem using paint chips? Is it something you use? Let me know if you have the same sort of issue as I do with actually using them. Okay, so we've got a bit of text or music going on. Let's do something else. And I'm trying to use scraps predominantly because it is Trash Craft Tuesday after all. So let's use things that would normally be thrown out. And then the focal image, of course, won't be in that category. It'll be something else. Could go a bit of this. Getting rid of, it's been punched with a circle punch, so I'm just getting rid of those hard lines. Oh, I like that, yes. Probably only want that colour on that one though, because the others are different colours. Actually, while I'm there, might as well grab out bits for the other two. Sorry you can't see me digging in my little, or not so little bag here. There's a scrap of a digital. We could put some of that on. Yep, that one can go on that one. Okay, so something for this one. What colour? No, that's too small. Thinking I want something bright again. This is very neutral in the way it's turning out. Don't want any more book page because we've already got text. Come on, there must be something in here. Please let there be something in here. How about a bit of that? The wee scrap is actually two pieces glued together, cut off a project. So can I separate them safely? Oh, very thin layer. Oh, there we go. It's very, like literally barely any paper left on that, but I think we'll get enough to, once it's glued down, I don't think it'll be a problem. But we want to give it a nice raggedy edge. Maybe a sort of slanted top like that. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Get these three pieces down. That one. This is watercolor paint, I think. That's what I put on there, and some crayon. That's what that's coloured with. And then this bit. I'm not sure what digital this is from. Oops, I just tore it. Never mind. It'll be fine. So I've got quite a bit to chop off the side there. That bit's not glued down, but it's just a bit of white, so let's try and tear it off. There we go. So this will go in my phone book, 'cause why not? And I just put them any which way. Cool. Oops. Threatening to have an avalanche over to the side. I've got things stacked on top of things, and one of the things on the bottom is quite small. It's a bit dodgy. Not just a bit dodgy either. It's totally dodgy. Okay, and just a tiny little piece off here. Right. Oh, that's terribly bubbled. Let's give that a bit of a smooth out, because it left very little of layer of paper there. Here we go. Okay. So far so good. Do I want to add any other bits of paper? This one I'm feeling could use something. And I'm thinking still keeping in the neutrals. What can I find that might work? Another bit of a digital. This one's from Weathered Textures. I have a feeling this one might be as well, but I'm not positive. Maybe like that, and then repunch the hole. Sounds like a plan. I think I need to change my glue page, but I'll do it after this piece, I think. Now try and remember how I had it, approximately. Like that. Looks fine. So here's another wee snippet for my phone book. And if you want to do something like this, it doesn't have to be a phone book. The benefit of the phone book is that the pages are super thin and they're easy to tear out, and you get them free, you know, if you have it in an area where you still can get a phone book. But you could equally use anything. You could use a magazine, you could use a newspaper, just anything paper that's, you know, hasn't really got any other use. And somehow I did not end up with that glued. Yeah, that's better. Right, now I think I want to find a focal image for these. Right. So let's grab out some butterflies. These might be a bit big. These are from Lydia on February and June on Patreon. I have got smaller ones though, so the big ones are going to definitely be too big. They're a bit curly because they're stored in a plastic container, but once they're glued down they are fine. What about this orange one? Oh, that's really pretty. I think that works beautifully there. Got a bit of purple and orange going on here, so we could do 3 down there. I'm just feeling the butterflies. This one maybe not a butterfly. And I've got different butterflies in there from somewhere else, but I'm liking these. This one, ooh, what would I like there? Maybe a bird, if I can find one that will fit, because we're narrow and tall, so might not. Let me just change out this glue page before I forget and get everything sticky, because I'll put stuff on top of it and then whatever I put on it is going to get sticky, isn't it? So just take a moment to do that. This one I know is too big. I'll find a home for you one day, birdie. Right, push these to the side for a moment. So I've got room to work. Yeah, see, it's a bit small and a bit wide. Yeah, you would need to lose all your tails. And that doesn't sound like fun for you, does it? Nope. Too wide. I'm having a feeling I might strike out on these birds. That one actually could work. I just have to trim a little bit of the branch, and not a bad height. In fact, no, I would have to trim a branch just slightly. Do they stand out? I mean, obviously they're bright and the background's neutral, but I'm wondering if they kind of like need something else. I'm going to go with them. Okay, it's not going to get too finickety with it. I do need to punch that hole though, because it's throwing off my vision of how it's looking. There we go. So holes back. Do want to also cut out this part by the tails. So I'm going to, for the first time, cut on this mat. Which means I won't have any grooves that my knife will fall into, because I was cutting on the old one this morning, cutting out things, and my knife kept falling into previous cuts and going off for where I was actually trying to cut. And I thought, oh, this is hopeless. This is not how it's supposed to work. So I thought maybe I really need to switch out my cutting mat. Yeah, so do let me know if this one's too busy and annoying. Let me know and I'll just go back to the other one and then just use this one when I'm off camera. Tricky there where it meets the tip of the tail meets the other tail. Don't want to end up ripping it. Oh, come on, come on. How to make something look totally awkward and difficult. There we go. Got it. Right, I am going to tacky glue you down. I'm thinking maybe I should pop a label or something underneath first. let's go into my labels. Whoops, I'm falling out. And I'm thinking one from the Junk Journal Studio, because I know they're lovely and neutral and lots of different options, different sizes and shapes and all sorts of fun stuff. No, that's too blendy. Maybe that's the problem I'm going to run into. Everything's going to be a bit blendy. Come on, come out there. It's a bit wide, but we could trim off those lovely curves. It is blending, but I actually like it. To me, it's just more background texture going on. So maybe what we need is a colour. Oops, sorry guys. Just gently tapped you with my hand there. So maybe we'll look at a different label. There's maybe a bit of green. No, that's not vibrant enough. I need my tweezers. Sorry, I'm going to be reaching again. Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh. It's terrible. It's twice now I've given you a rock. Given the camera a rock. Okay, I think what I'm going to do there. Put that there. Do we want to put this bit up here? Oh, yes, I think so. But do we want to put something else up there as well? Why not just layer it up? Oh, having trouble grabbing bits here. These rectangle labels here are from 9 of Crones on Etsy. Is that too much going on? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. See, this is why decorating takes me so long. I get so, I don't know, particular. Yeah, I think that was too much. But I'm still thinking I need something else. Oh dear. I am wondering. Hold on a tick. Got these fun pieces from the Junk Journal Studio that are part of the Spring Bounty kit. I'm just wondering whether I want to put some of that there. I may regret this, but chop it in half. We could put something like that, and then we could something like that. That's making me happier. Okay, so let's try and glue this down without forgetting where everything goes. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, I'm a bit klutzy today. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's just the headache being, you know, making me not quite so dexterous or something. Don't know. Right, so I'll need to trim around that curve. And this inking will also help things kind of come together. Go, so and so variety of labels. Oops, I meant to put this bit underneath that. If I work quickly, I should be able to slide it underneath. Lift it up, slide it in, try and get it. Yep, there we go. Look at that layering. Right, now, excuse me, the birdies. I might need to use my page here, my glue page, to get in those fine areas. Quite amazed that I'd already cut out these branches here. Normally that sort of fine detail I would wait to do until I wanted to use it. Excuse me, I seem to have developed a little frog in my throat. Yeah, it wants to talk to you and go ribbit, ribbit. Right, tacky glue for this one, just because of all those fine little bits. I don't want to rip them off on with my glue stick, or gouge out my glue with all these fine little bits, because that's the other thing I'm very good at doing, is gouging out my glue, and it's super annoying. Right, now get this positioned where I wanted it. There we go. Okay, snip snip. I mean, I could leave these curves on the side. I think that would actually be fine, as long as it went into a pocket that allowed for those extra bits on the side, but I'm going to trim them off. Right, those bits, they're not big enough to put in my phone book, so they just go into my rubbish bin there, into my rubbish pottle. Okay, ink around it, and then we'll do the others, and then we'll find something to put in the top of each of them. Yeah, I actually like how that turned out. Okay, here we go with our butterflies. Now these I have left white around the antennae. So maybe we want the big one at the bottom, bigger of the three. And then these are actually the same one. That's okay. Or do we want the one that's different in the middle? Yes, that's what we want, the one that's different in the middle. Yes. And that one can go straight, I think. Yep. Right, do I want anything with them? Actually thinking something vertical. I'm trying to think what I've got that I could use. I know. Another bit of finish my words of trash, is my magazine washi that I love to make. Love making this out of pattern bits out of magazines. So what sort of colour? I've roughly separated these into colourways. Don't want something that will compete too much. Don't think pink. I've got a bit of pink here, but I don't think pink's the right way to go. About one of these peachy sort of, maybe a thinner one. I've got two different widths in here as well. Oops, that's all made a hatchet job of that, twisting it round. There we go. Yeah, that one I think. So once you've harvested your magazine and you've got really fun, cool bits of backgrounds or images that you know you don't know what else to do with, just take some double-sided tape and make yourself some faux washi. I do have a video on this. It's another Trash Craft Tuesday video. Now, do I want it in the middle or do I want it up the side, or maybe up this side? Yeah, I think I want it up that side. So I'm just gonna, this could be tricky. Don't really want to cut it around the curve until I've got it on there, otherwise I will end up in trouble, I think. So I'll just have to trim it off while the sticky is a what's the word I'm trying to say? Exposed. Right, so peel off the backing. That's the hard part. Getting it started is the hard part. Once you've got it started, it's fine. There we go. Make sure it's straight. Okay. It's going to gum up my scissors. Never mind. It's all in a good cause, isn't it? Yep. So sticky. I've been through so much double-sided tape making this faux washi, but when you pick double-sided tape up for a couple of bucks a roll, I think, you know, that's totally doable because you get a lot of faux washi out of a single roll. Right, so do I want to cut the antennae off or do I want to ink them? So lots of decisions to make. Do I want to add any labels? If I do, I think small ones. So these are again Junk Journal Studio, and they're just my little small ones. I'm going to put that one there. I think maybe a small label for each butterfly, keeping with those threes. The odd number that's so pleasing for our eye. So I haven't yet decided about the antennae, what I'm going to do there. Let's start with our wee labels anyway. Yep, that one there. I'm busy inking my fingers because the labels are so little to hold on to. Out there. Doesn't matter if they're not entirely in the right place. It'll be all good. And maybe we could go in the middle with this one. Yep. Oh, ink first. Tell you what, having little labels like this is so handy, and I do enjoy small things like little miniatures of stuff. Super fun, super cute, and just perfect where you want that little detail. Right in the middle there. Okay, let's ink these antennae and see what we think. Yeah, I think that's fine. And I haven't cut them out particularly well, so I am going to just go around the edges, catch any of those little white bits I can see. Oops. I could just cut the antenna off and draw them in, but it's like, I think inking them will be fine. Okay, and gosh, this sponge really is very raggedy. I need to cut it down, cut the bottom off so it's not so crummy. The only thing about that is you lose that nice rounded part, and I do prefer the rounded edge. Right, time to glue. I think these butterflies are so sweet. I'm going to put the bottom one on first so I can kind of evenly space them. So go top and bottom, and then the middle one I can judge better where to put it so it's equidistant from the other two. Or to use plainer language, equal distance. Okay, and our bigger one in the middle. So the smaller ones I printed 2 pages to a page, if you know what I mean. So when I did them smaller, of course I ended up with 2 of those that size, which is great because I love having the smaller ones to work with as well. Oh, I didn't quite get it in the right place, but never mind. You're just going to lose a tiny little bit of that wing there. Ouch! Right. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get those other 2 done in this video. I have a feeling I've been going for quite a while. Okay, this one. Again, I think a label would be cool. Probably a bigger label. Ah, that's our leftover bit of Faux Washi. Wondered what it was. Vertical label. These are from, what's the name? I have to look at my printables by Marty Joe. These ones, these apothecary labels. No, it's kind of just floating in mid-air. Not happy with that. Love the labels, just not working with this. Gonna do it again. I'm gonna go chop. Actually I don't mind that. So Junk Journal Studio again for these ones. So it needs a slight little more taken off. So that was a pretty quick decision, wasn't it? It can happen, just doesn't seem to happen a lot. Okay, that one. Gosh, it is so windy. Get tired of the wind, and it makes me tired as well as giving me a headache. It's just the constant noise of it. It's very draining. But on the other hand, it is warm. So that's a bonus because I'm really enjoying the warmth. Trim around that curve a bit. Whoops. Almost over the hole. There we go. Just managed to slide it down just a little bit. So again, I want to ink these antennae. And around the butterfly. Such beautiful artwork from Lydia. Very sort of stained glass style is what it reminds me of, which is really super pretty. Okay, just about there, I think. Sorry guys, I know I've gone completely quiet there. Right. Cute. Very cute. Okay, so I do believe that we're ready almost, once I've put some ink around this, to do some toppers. Whoops. Forgot to trim that bit. There we go. I haven't inked the backs, I'll do that off camera. You don't need to sit there and watch me do that, do you? Bit of the crumbs. Okay, we have 3. Oh, I'm really happy with those. I think they're super cute. I was thinking about putting little hole reinforcers, and that's certainly an option. I don't think I will with these ones because I think I'm ready to wrap the video up just when we've got those toppers done. So let's cause things to fall off the shelf. So I've got these wonderful different yarns and bits and pieces from Lisa that she sent me in Happy Mail. And then I've got my bin of lace scraps and bits and pieces, ribbons and goodness knows what else. So I'm sure we'll find something in amongst all this. Don't put your scissors away, you're going to need those. Probably don't need our tweezers, so we can pop those out of the way. And my fussy cutting scissors, I'm just trying to make room here. They can go. Glue stick, you can go back over there. Right, and our butterflies can go away. Right, I feel like I've got a little more space. Okay, got some really cool little bit of string here. Maybe that would go with that one. Do we want to partner it with a little bit of lace, or there's this bit of ribbon? This was actually a bookmark out of a diary. They could be kind of interesting together. This one's a bit sort of from where it was tied up on whatever it came on. Just might snip that bit off. The other end's curly as well, but not as bad. Let's go with that. I think I'll trim it after the fact. Do I want lace in there as well? You know, the good old 3. Do we want 3 things in there? I've used this lace a lot. I'm going to be sad when I run out of it. I think that's quite nice. Let's see if we can get that through the hole. Yeah, try and find our way through it to get it all through that gap. Oops. Oh dear. Did you see what I just did? I just ripped it. Oops. Oh well, that's okay. Let's trim off. I didn't pull it all the way through, so I think we'll still be okay. Put usable bits back in there. So lesson, don't pull too tight. And what I might do is just put something across there. Little fix-up job needed. That's all right. We can do a fix-up job. I'm thinking another wee label. Yep, let's put that there. So I'll give that some ink. So Junk Journal Studio labels to the rescue. I'm going to put one on the front and I'll put another one on the back. And then nobody will know that the hole tore because we're covering the hole and it's just got a new hole. There we go, that there, and then one on the back here. Just doesn't matter what, just a little something, maybe a little longer. Yeah, that one. There's always a way to fix things, guys. Nothing is ever lost. Well, very, very seldom is it a lost cause. I'd say it's a lost cause if you feel like if looking at it distresses you. And in that case, it's probably better just to bin it or put it aside rather than let it continue to cause you distress. But if something like this happens, like, there's a way to fix it, honestly. Right, so my lesson is not to pull too tight, because even though these feel quite sturdy, obviously not as sturdy as one would think. Or at least, or either that or I had a sudden show of inhuman strength, which I seriously doubt. Right, so for this one, I'm thinking a bit of this eyelash trim would be super, super pretty. So a bit of that. Take off the loose bits. What do we want with that? I think I'd like something else with it. Oh, I've got this beautiful old lace here, which is very fine. That would be pretty, wouldn't it? Okay, piece of that. Maybe just the 2 in this one. Okay, let's try not to pull it too high. So this would be where hole reinforcers would have actually been a really good idea. So on my other ones, I think I will go ahead and put hole reinforcers. But these three I won't. I'll just be more careful. Not try and pull it to death. I like all those little bits, little hairy bits. That's super cute. That needs a little trim off. It's slightly too long for me, for my liking. Here we go. Clean up the mess. Okay, and this one. So we've got greens, we've got a bit of yellow. What about this multicolour one? That could be really nice. A bit of that. And we've got neutrals. Do we want some of the sparkly goldy one? Why not? A bit of that one. And we want something else. Do we want a bit of lace as well? Why not? Okay. Gather it all up. Oops. Through that one as well. Make sure I've pulled everything through. Ah, fun. Awesome. Right, just pop these aside so we can see what we're dealing with. Right, so we got 3 done. I don't think that's too bad. Oh, and yes, we have gone a long time. So time to wrap this up. So there are my 3 paint chip tags. I think they're super cute. Hope this is inspiring for you guys. I hope you grab your paint chips and have a play. Thanks for joining me today. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.